Hey guys, Knight here, and welcome to my first episode of Calling You Out! Being that this is my first episode, let me go ahead and tell you guys what the show is all about. Simply put, it's about calling people out. Literally, calling people out. Do note that I mean no disrespect, and I do not intend to be hateful or call salt to be had. No offense is to be taken from you because none is dealt by me. It can be taken as such, but that would be your mistake, so don't, okay? Don't be mad. I'm doing my job, just like you're doing yours. I am simply proving and disproving things. That's it. If you are unworthy, I will let you know with a complete unbiased view. And I'll do so in a way that's kind of like a court system where you guys will decide too, alright? So I'm not just saying you're wrong, I'm proving it. This isn't just to step on your toes. This will encourage you to step your game up or let someone else step up for you, someone else more capable. By doing what I am doing, it reveals someone who is in charge that actually doesn't care, who is only milking the system, taking advantage of your views. It opens your eyes so that someone with heart and passion for it can step up and give it a shot. Someone who actually cares for the job they're doing, to make the system better. And again, you guys decide. I'm just giving you proof using my insight. But don't have bias. Be fair. In today's episode, we'll be covering game theory. Portal's Company Cube has a dark secret posted by the Game Theorist on YouTube. I will post a link so you guys can relate to the points I make. One last note, I don't have Photoshop expertise. I don't have software to make pretty videos like these other people do. But I tend to blow these people out of the water with my mind. Alright, so I don't have flashy lights and colors. I don't use swag. I have legit, characteristics and attributes, I actually have qualities that make me great. I don't rely on swag to prove myself. But anyways, that said, let's get started. Court is in order! Alright, so first thing I wanted to point out was at 48 seconds. Foxy! Alright, next up, 59. People fell in love with that box the same way that people fell in love with Dante being a badass. It was kind of placed into your heads. It's not so much that he was a badass, it's just that he was brought up to be a badass and everyone believed it. Please note that real quick, because it is important. Just understand that kind of characteristic attribute, that psychological gain thing right there, okay? It's very important. 153. Not only were most people alone in the game, but most people who played the game were alone in IRL. This is where a strong bond was created. So you related to the game, but you didn't relate to IRL, and that's kind of important too. Personally, I was in a relationship at the time. Because of that, I felt no attachment at all to the box. I had my own boxy. This is all important information for you to understand the greater picture. Alright, so keep that in mind, alright? 147. This is a bit off topic, but you will find this not asking questions things comes up a lot. Divorce rates and relationships in general tend to fail because of this phenomenon known by me as media mind control. You are not alone, yet because of the music and commercials you see on TV, you are never not alone enough. So emotional attachment becomes a requirement. So 209. If you bring something up, cover the entirety of it. You are a teaching community. Do not leave anything out. There was restrictions because people didn't know the consequences. If they did, they would never have done what they did. This is important for the future to know that and always be reminded of it. An example of why is that racism still exists today because things are overlooked and taken for granted. If we had discipline, we would be over this already, but ignorance is abundant because discipline is lacking. And off topic again, but that is why Korea is better than North America in gaming right now. Our military forces understand discipline like mofos, and those dudes are successful monsters, and it's all about discipline. Look at video games, all the kids on there, they all want to screw around, they all want to party and not take the game seriously. They're not disciplined. That's the problem. $219. This is evidence to why they added restrictions, but you never mention that. So, yeah, because of all that crazy people born from this, they had to stop it. This is what I meant before. This is why restrictions became a thing. It's not so much that they were just free to do whatever just because, it's because they didn't know. And this is This was something that happened, so they had to stop it because they didn't want crazy people. 322. Actually, the companion cube is a game versions of Wilson. Castaway was December 22nd, 2000. Portal was December 11th, 2007. Castaway did it first. Get your statements correct. 342. No. 408 proves you are wrong. How is that a weird choice of words at all? You just explained how the box is your best friend by default. Now you are saying that it is weird that they called it your best friend? Why? You're way out of line and excluding your own evidence here. Let me remind you of what you just said. You already proved why they said that it is considered a friend, being that it is the only emotional attachment in the area that you created, so you made it into a person and therefore a friend. You just previously proved that even a ball could be made into a friend, and there's no argument that states that this ball is filled with people. So with all of that said and reminded, how does your point about it being weird to say killing your relationship even come up? Fact is, it shouldn't, and you are wrong to say it is. Saying that technically proves your whole theory wrong outright, but I'm going to continue. But first, let me explain something that I see. This is about you. It is like you're not even paying attention to your own arguments. Like you actually don't care. How weird. I have been known to call people who are more famous than not half-assers, just shooting out videos mindlessly to continue to get paid, and you are kind of following that trend. I'm sorry to say, but it's the truth. That said, thank you for inspiring me to call people like you out and giving me a sense of justice and duty by doing so. And what I mean is, I'm keeping fakers from being number one while allowing people who actually have heart a chance to step into the ring and do it and make it better because they actually love what they're doing. Example, me. I'm enjoying every minute of this. I wrote this document just right now and I enjoyed every minute of it, you know? I actually have a passion for this. I'm not just talking out of my ass. All of what I said is either true or you are not suited for the rage of war. So pack up, go home, you're through. 456, the whole Gladys thing. You can't use her words as evidence. Reason why is everything she says can be explained in the opposite spectrum that you used it in. It won't stab you, but it's a box. It can't speak. It's a box. You were wrong on this point where she says, if it does speak, don't listen. Because she says the enrichment center tells you not to listen. Okay? She says if the box speaks, the enrichment center tells you not to listen, basically. You know, insists you don't listen or something. I forgot the exact words, but she never said don't listen to the box. She never once confirms that the box will talk to you at all. Alright, that's what I'm trying to say right now. You just made it appear that way with your words, and I caught it. That's what I do. I also wanted to point out something you did in your video. You put quotes on the box like if the box is actually talking. This kind of creates a bias. You posted things on the box as if providing you with direct information was something that it actually did. It isn't. It never has. That is what we call lying or false information. The box actually never says a word, not even hi. The talking she is talking about is in your head. And that's the whole psychological thing that's happening here. That's the whole thing with Wilson that happened in Castaway. It's psychological. One bit of evidence is her saying that it will say, go on without me, and it will say, it is a burden to you. She is planting things in your head to discourage you from listening to your voice that you are giving it. Psychological, again. Much like what you are doing to your viewers. You are leading people the wrong way with your misinformation. You're wrong and you're acting like you're right, and people are watching you and believing you, and they're all wrong to think you're right. At 536, again, you are wrong. It is all covered previously. She is keeping you from thinking, keeping you from your logical reasoning, your deduction, you know. Here's an example of it. I used to talk to my mother about my problems, just to have it plotted out in my head. Now, I talk to myself on occasion because she passed away 2 years ago. If I have company, I talk to them. Even if they can't keep up with me, it helps me figure out my situation because I straighten it out for myself. Like, I'm talking, but I'm talking to myself in a sense. You know, so even if I'm talking to my cup, you know, talking to somebody else, I get the same results. So it doesn't matter if you're talking to a sponge or whatever, or a person, because they might not understand. So it really doesn't matter. The point is, it's all psychological, okay? Here, the same is true. She's trying to create the stigma that what your mind is trying to think isn't actually happening because she wants you to fail. That was the one thing you did get right. She wants you to fail. But she doesn't want you to fail because this box is alive. That's the point, okay? Thing is, she wants you to fail And the way she wants you to fail is by stopping you from thinking. She doesn't want you to think. The box is not alive. It has nothing to do with the actual box. You are wrong to assume it is, and you are more wrong to tell everybody that it might be. But it is all on a higher level of thinking, so I don't blame you for missing that. Everybody else does. But I do blame you for portraying it to everybody else. Don't lead them that direction. It's wrong. 553. I don't see the actual advice you mentioned from the cube. It is saying things that you can deduce on your own. If you showed me a bit that showed the box saying, the key is under the toilet, near the left panel, I know because before I was stashed into this box, I put it there. I would agree with you. But again, everything you show is things that are obvious or that you can figure out on your own. Oh look, turns to the right. The box says, first there to the left. Oh, cube, you're so smart. What would I ever do without you? The fuck? The one thing that keeps him alive. You end up saying that. The one thing that keeps him alive. I'm pretty sure what you're saying is you're talking about his internal thinking. Because we all have that, alright? Most of us did anyway. Before ignorance became cool, we had this thing called critical thinking. Oh, you think the box is still talking again. So that's what you said, the one thing that keeps him alive. You think it's the box. No. The box is just a box, and he's just expressing his inner thoughts outwardly on this inanimate object, as you have proven that people do early on in this video with Wilson. 613. I'm sorry to say this, but you really are naive, aren't you? Just young and don't know. Like, this isn't a bashing, I'm not burning on you, I'm not talking shit. You just literally don't know. You know, that's what I'm saying, you're naive, you don't know, you're too young, you don't know. So I'm bringing up a typo at 613. That typo you mentioned is actually not a typo, but a technique to prevent copyright infringement from happening. Ever hear music that sounds like other music but is a different tune? Let me blow your mind again. It is intentional. It wasn't a mistake. How do you honestly not know this stuff? You went to school, right? I didn't, and I know more. Odd. Can't wait to go, though. 625. Again, wrong, but yet right. Let me explain. Pills are antipsychotic. That is correct, okay? But you realize why he won't need a cube anymore, right? Are you actually connecting the dots or just repeating stuff? He won't need a cube anymore, not because he won't need it anymore, but because he won't see or hear the cube anymore, because he won't be a psycho anymore, because he's taking the pills that make him psychotic anymore. The reason why he nearly dies over and over again is not because of the box. It is because he is no longer thinking. It wasn't because the cube is answering him. His critical thinking is just being repressed by other drugs. I'm gonna get personal with you for a minute about myself. When I was in high school, I was on this medication called Ritalin. That shit slowed me down like a motherfucker, alright? I was slow. I'd play soccer, I'm like, poof, ball had hit me, and I couldn't do anything. Before I took that medication, I was one of the best out there. Like, a bunch of Mexicans out there straight from Mexico and shit, you know what I mean? Like, their dad straight from Mexico hated me because I was actually really good at this game, and they wanted to be the best. You know, so they hated me for it, but then I took this medication, they all started loving me, you know, because I wasn't the best anymore. I wasn't competing for alpha, you know, and like, it's like I do online and with like go over parties or whatever, and people hate me because I intimidate them essentially, you know, and I intimidated everybody at my school when it came to soccer. But when I took this medication, it went away, you know, and it's the same thing here. He's psychotic. The medication is antipsychotic. He no longer talks to this box. He's no longer thinking. Do you want evidence of that? If you were right and the box actually was alive, by taking those pills, he would hear it more, but it goes away. I wonder why. I'm gonna say something real quick. At this point, I lost complete hope in you. These answers that I'm seeing are as simple as 2 plus 2. Yet, you are getting 7 as your answer. I can't take it anymore. It seems that I'm having an issue every single time you open your mouth in this video. Like, I'm not even kidding. I'm done calling you out, dude. Like, it's just too much. It's too much. I'm 6 minutes in. There's 6 minutes to go. How long have I been talking already? You've been wrong every step of the way. I can't go on anymore. I can't. So I'm done calling you out. But I want to say that I did some back history on you, looked at some previous things, and math is your meal ticket, alright? I've seen your other works, and you crunch numbers very well, but theory in this topic is out of your league, and you make no outstanding points or arguments, and even argue against your own evidence. That is as far as psychology goes. You don't have it at all. Like, don't, just stay away. You know what I mean? You're missing everything. You're completely wrong. I'm sorry, but this is what I do. I'm unbiased. I don't hate you. I'm just being a judge here. Don't hate me. This is my call, you know what I mean? I'm being completely fair. I'm not being an asshole. I'm not hating on you. You know, you do work. You're an entertainer. You do work. Your videos are great and entertaining, but you're wrong. I could continue, but I'm done. I actually went over the whole video and have responses to every major point you make, so let me know if you need more stuff proven wrong. And that goes for the viewers as well, alright? I will post the rest of it if enough people want me to post it. If you're curious. Which you should be. Be curious about it. Be curious why you're wrong. Don't be afraid of it, alright? That said, it is time for my verdict. My final verdict. Order! Order in the court! Stick to number crunching, bro. You're great at math and alike, but philosophy and psychology are very elusive to you. Don't enter them. Alright guys, so that's about it. Please let me know what you think of my new series called Calling You Out. Comment with names of videos and people you want me to call out, and make sure to like and subscribe for more in the future, okay? Let me know that you guys are interested in this kind of stuff, and I will continue to put out forever because I actually have a heart for this. I was supposed to be a lawyer one day, but I became disabled, so, you know, this is almost the same thing for me. With that, thanks for watching guys, take care, hit that follow, peace. The fuck?